So I purchased 100 more shares in Palantir since it seems like we've only been seeing red lately. And honestly, I'm more than happy to continue buying at the current levels that we're seeing Palantir fall to. But all that aside, I'd actually like to discuss some pretty exciting news. So check it out. Palantir Technologies to expand in South Korea. Okay, so first off, who exactly is Palantir partnering with? Well, they're actually partnering with Hyundai Heavy Industries. And the interesting thing about this is that when I first heard the name Hyundai, I automatically just think of the car company, but Hyundai is actually more than just a car company and has a bunch of different divisions. They're in robotics, and believe it or not, they actually own the robotics company Boston Dynamics, and they have a shipbuilding division as well, which I previously mentioned, called Hyundai Heavy Industries, which is actually the world's largest shipbuilding company based in South Korea, and this is what Palantir will be focusing on. And just as a small side note, I was actually in CES a few days ago and actually got to watch in person the entire Hyundai Heavy presentation, so the fact that this article was released is pretty perfect timing. So what this means is Palantir will collaborate to build out their big data analytics platform for Hyundai Heavy's core business, which includes shipbuilding and offshore engineering. And according to this article, the two parties will also consider establishing a joint venture to promote the big data platform that Hyundai and Palantir both signed. And based on the agreement, Hyundai Heavy and Palantir will jointly build a big data platform for the group's key affiliates related to shipbuilding, offshore engineering, energy, and industrial machinery. It says that Hyundai Heavy will provide the affiliates process expertise and sales know-how, where Palantir will offer software and development personnel. And once the software is actually tailored to Hyundai's specific needs, the two parties plan to create a joint venture that specializes in developing and selling the big data platform services. So basically, it'll commercialize big data solutions to generate sales targeting for both domestic and foreign companies. And guys, trust me, the presentation that was given at CES was incredible, and I think it really showcased just how innovative Hyundai is in the world of autonomous green ship engineering. And while I was at CES, I also got to check out a model of their new hydrogen-powered autonomous ship, which was pretty cool. And not only that, but this is actually the world's first self-navigating ship. So if you think Hyundai was just a boring, affordable car company like I did, yeah, you can think again. This is literally a company that is leading the way in the future of how ships will be engineered, and Palantir is joining right alongside them. Hyundai Heavy is also working on what they call a Future of Shipyard, or FOS project, to transform itself into a small shipyard, which is the first of its kind in the world, by 2030. All processes from design to production are connected in real time to build a shipyard that enables smart work management, where Palantir's Foundry data platform is applied. And Palantir's Foundry platform will also be adopted by energy affiliates, such as Hyundai Oil Bank. And this energy company plans to build a platform at its plant in South Korea for 5 years from this year onward, with a strategy to maximize process efficiency by integrating more than 100 production management systems into one. And Hyundai Doosan Infracore, an affiliate of Industrial Machinery, already developed something called DI360, a big data collection platform with Palantir in 2019, and is currently using it to handle its parts supply chain, handle on-site quality claim issues, and seize sale opportunities. So basically, Hyundai Heavy and Palantir are planning to consider building a platform for other affiliates as well, such as Hyundai Construction Equipment. And I hope I'm pronouncing this name right, but the CEO of Hyundai Heavy, Tae-sun Chung, said, "We expect this partnership with Palantir Technologies will sustainably improve the competitiveness of core business of the group. It will be an important turning point in the innovation of organizational culture that changes the way we work using data." And even Alex Karp had something to say about this deal. HHI Group shaped one of the most significant industries of the 20th century and is absolutely vital to the lives we lead. We are deeply grateful for the opportunity to partner with a company that is not only a leader among the world's industrial giants, but one whose continued growth and success are critical to our collective welfare and security. And with that, I'll leave you guys with a recent clip of an interview with Shiam Singkar.
What does this mean for Palantir's business, and how will it help you expand internationally?
Well, it really builds on our track record of working with industrial companies. I would say Skywise, the aviation ecosystem that we built with Airbus, was quite revolutionary. It brought together the 15 largest suppliers in aviation with 150 airlines. It generates billions of dollars of value for the aviation ecosystem. We brought that to automotive, and we're super excited to bring that to the shipping industry, both on the manufacturing of ships, but also the transportation, the execution, the operation of these vessels as well, and all the participants in that ecosystem.
Well, and speaking of manufacturing, how are supply chain pains impacting Palantir and impacting your clients, given the number of industries that you touch, including now building ships?
As you know, Emily, we work across 40 different industries, and we've had a big role in helping companies with supply chains from the very beginning of the pandemic, like helping 3M produce PPE, helping keep hospitals open and running. One of the interesting realities now with Omicron is that you're seeing that it's not just about part availability, it's about people availability. You see that hospitals are struggling to have full levels of staffing. And that is actually, in a holistic sense, a supply chain problem. So we are helping people manage parts and people together. And I think a big part of that is companies are realizing that these kind of cute sayings of just in time or just in case, these are just cute sayings. The reality is that managing your supply chain is a software problem. And we are bringing that software to the front lines to help them do that.
You actually have a partnership with Merck to try to address some of these issues, the chip shortage in particular. What are you learning from that?
Yeah, Merck is one of the largest suppliers of material to the semiconductor industry. And clearly the crisis in semiconductors now, we've worked with industrial companies as they kind of work around this. But Merck and Palantir are joining forces to address the problem head on, really thinking about how we optimize quality and yield and get the most out of the chips that we are producing, the silicon we are making, and get them to the most effective places. And part of being at CES for us here is to meet with the semiconductor manufacturers and start seeing how we can help them drive quality and results immediately.
You're at CES actually this year. Unlike many companies and executives that decided to present virtually, I know that EVs are a big theme there. You've also got a partnership with Wejo, which is a connected car platform. Where are you expecting to see the most innovations on the EV front? What are you looking ahead to?
I really think about it as mobility, broadly speaking, everything from autonomous vehicles, electric vehicles, the connected vehicle data. You're seeing a big convergence there. And one of the huge themes it has for us has been leveraging the edge AI capabilities that we've been developing over the last few years. All of these connected devices are generating so much data. People are realizing that that's actually a problem. It's too much data to bring back from the vehicles themselves to the cloud. So how do you push the analytics to the edge? How do you start using those analytics in simulation? We think about the metaverse from a consumer's perspective most of the time, but really one of the more exciting applications are these digital twins, or as Wejo calls it, the meta twin that allows cities to look at and simulate what would happen if they changed how their traffic lights work based on this connected vehicle data that's streaming off, or allows EV manufacturers or AV autonomous vehicle companies to actually do more simulation to understand how they can get more safety under more environments and bring those to market more quickly. And we think there's going to be huge opportunity in that space. They launched their Neural Edge product at CES, and Foundry is a big part of that.
There's been some debate, Shiam, about whether CES should have moved forward in person at all, given the spike in COVID cases, and some skepticism in general about how relevant CES still is. What's your perspective on that, given you're there at the conference this year? How much value do you think it really still has?
We've seen great opportunities from being here. Of course, people are being very safe and taking precautions, and that's changed the ways in which people are engaging. But I still see a lot of cutting edge innovation, great opportunities to engage with partners and build the future together.
Now, we're speaking about a year now since Palantir went public. Just looking at the stock, dropped by about 21% over the year, underperformed the S&P. Do you see that turning around in 2022? What's your outlook ahead?
We guided in Q4 to 40% growth in 21. Pretty excited about that. Pretty excited about the fundamentals of the business. Over $400 million of cash flow is our guide. So I think the business is performing really well. And what we focus on is working our tail off to create value every single day. We're doing this for the long term. You think about a great company like Apple, they've been around 45 years. It took them 30 years to create the first $100 billion of value, 12 additional years to create the next trillion, and 3 years on top of that to create the subsequent 2 trillion. And so we plan to do this for a long time. We have a monastic focus on creating software that the world needs before the world knows it needs it. We plan to keep doing that, and we think that will be reflected in the long term.
So yeah, overall, very, very exciting stuff for Palantir. I think if anything, what this partnership will do is help Palantir gain exposure in the markets outside of the United States. And as always, I remain very bullish on Palantir, and I'm honestly really looking forward to see what 2022 brings for them. But yeah, that'll be it for today. Thanks as always, guys, and I'll catch you next time.